Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here to unpack and talk about one of the most popular shows of the recent weeks, and I think one of the most popular shows to ever hit Netflix. If you haven't heard about the show, you've been living under a literal rock because it has been everywhere, and this show is Squid Game. I said this in my last video, but Netflix really dropped banger after banger after banger in the past couple of weeks, and honestly I was about to let this show slip under the radar, but luckily I was able to squeeze in time to binge watch the show, and I will tell you right now that I did not regret a single second that I spent on the show. Although I will say that maybe some of like the trauma and like mental duress that it put me under, I could have lived without. But overall, it really was a great experience. And there were so many things that happened and so many things that I just need to like talk out with y'all, because we need to really evaluate what's going on here, especially the ending of this show. But before we do that, I have bills to pay, so let's hear a word from this video sponsor, Bartleby Learn. Bartleby Learn is an online web service that can help you get your homework done fast and more importantly, done right. If you're a student like me, then you know how tedious and difficult the education system can be, especially now that classes are back in person. It kind of just feels like education is on X Games mode, just zooming through. Bartleby Learn is here to help you with that. They offer a searchable database of over 5 million step-by-step textbook and homework solutions so that you can get the help that you need for your homework problem sets or readings. They also have live subject matter experts with PhDs or master's degrees on standby 24/7 to help you out whenever you're stuck. And if that isn't impressive enough, most questions get answered in as fast as 30 minutes. Talk about speedy response times. And if you're constantly on the move, they also have a mobile app where you can study on the go to take your work wherever you go. The beauty of Bartleby Learn is that it not only helps you get the right answers to your textbook questions, but it also makes sure that you learn how to solve them on your own next time. And with that, Bartleby has hooked us up with a deal. If you click the link in my description, you can get 1 month of access to Bartleby Learn completely for free. Thank you so much, Bartleby, for sponsoring this video. Rumi, are you ready to take it away? Thank you, sponsor Rumi. Now, Squid Game. So like I said, if you haven't heard about the show already, I highly recommend you watch it beforehand. But just to catch you up, it's basically this K-drama where a bunch of people that are in an immense amount of debt are all called upon to play this long, really sadistic, Saw-like game called the Squid Game. But basically they're playing with the hopes of being the last person standing and winning the giant like lottery pot where they can pay off all their debts and like live in luxury. But they're actually paying for this with their lives if they happen to lose. They calculate each participant's life to be worth around like, I want to say 100 million or 100,000 won. And this whole event is like really underground and being held by this really mysterious group of people that are super rich and can afford to do all this and put on these really sadistic games. But besides this really interesting plot point, the characters in this show really do make this show. And what I really love about the show is how intentional it is about like its characters and how full circle everything is, in a sense that a lot of the main characters really do represent different aspects of like humanity, and I'll explain what I mean by that when I get into like actually who the characters are. But they're all so dynamic, and I feel bad for literally every single one of them for many different reasons. So our main character, our main protagonist is Sung Gi-yoon. Also, sorry if my pronunciation is off, I'm trying my best. Now while I edit this, I asked myself, why did I not just say their numbers? Like what was the reason for having to like actually try and pronounce this? Because I'm telling you right now, it gets worse. It gets so much worse, and it's embarrassing. I am sincerely sorry. The reason why he's in debt is because he's a big gambler and he basically gambled away all of his family's money. He has a young daughter who pretty much pities him at this point because he really can never like follow through on his promises to her. And his ex-wife has found someone else who is really successful, and like that whole dynamic is just very evident. So he feels like some jealousy there. He really kind of neglects his mom. His mom is sick and he's being threatened by like these debt collectors, which is why he joins the game. But he like really represents like the most like realistic character, I would say. Like, of course, once he's in the game, he's like very like happy-go-lucky, very positive, but I feel like he's also kind of like realistic. Okay, I lied. I no longer agree with what I was saying before. I would say that he's not so much realistic as much generous. I would say generosity is generally like how I would describe his character, even from like the beginning. Like when he has the means to, he's going to give money away to people or like help people in need, like what he did with like the lady once he won the money at the horse racing, or like the old man, or pretty much like anyone who needs help. He's just there. So like he definitely is self-motivated to a certain extent, but really he's like trying to make sure that everyone is able to get through if possible. Like when there's an option to collaborate, he's willing to collaborate. And that is contrasted with his childhood friend Sung-woo, who also ends up in the game because growing up, he was like the super successful like business mogul, but he got himself in some financial trouble and ended up betting too much on his skills and ends up being in immense debt. Sung-woo initially I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he was gonna be like the strategy guy, but really he's like the embodiment of like self-greed and like looking out for yourself, in the sense that he really throughout this entire time does not care about a single person besides himself, and from the jump believes that he's going to be the person to win. So he consistently throughout the show backstabs his friends and does it in a sneaky way, or attempts to do it in sneaky ways where they won't really pick up that he's trying to backstab them. But eventually secret gets out that he's only looking out for himself and he's not really trying to help anyone out. I officially joined the Sung-woo hate train when he did stuff to the next character, Ali. Ali really deserved the world. Like if I really wanted anyone to win, it would be Ali, because he just really represents trust and in a certain sense innocence. He throughout this show has only been wanting to help people. He's been very selfless and just a really like bubbly personality. He's like really trusting of people, willing to help people out whenever he can, and it's just like a really like solid and reliable character. And unfortunately that innocence lends itself to gullibleness, because he ends up being tricked by Sung-woo a lot and manipulated by Sung-woo, because Sung-woo actually did some nice things for him in the beginning and sort of used Ali's trustingness to his own demise. And we'll get into that scene because that scene was traumatizing for multiple reasons. We then have, I think, most people's favorite character for multiple reasons. I mean, like, just look. We have Saebyuk, who really has like one of the saddest stories, I personally believe. She's in the game because her and her brother ran away from North Korea. Her brother's in an orphanage and she got into like some shady stuff to try and like protect him and to try and like bring her mother back from North Korea because her mom's still over there. And basically she has no reason to trust anybody, but over the course of the season and during that damn Marvel episode, we learned so much about her and who she is as a character and what her motivations are, and really I was just rooting for her. I was really just rooting for her. I wanted her to win. I knew that she probably wouldn't end up being the winner, but I like hoped that she would have been one of the winners. I don't know. And then some honorable mentions before we really get into it. We have Deok-soo. He's like one of those like gang leader sort of personalities, and he really just uses people to his benefit through like brute strength and like fear. And I feel like he just represents like overcompensating through fear, because I feel like he is one of the most scared people in this game, but is trying desperately to try and cover it up through like his strength and like macho-ness. But yeah, him and Han Min-yo, their interactions were always so funny because she was just such a character on this show. Like yes, a lot of times she was annoying just through like her monologues and like how she would try and like manipulate the situation, but no one was actually being fooled by her. It was just so funny how like she kept coming back. Like it really reminded me of like, did y'all see Total Drama Island? She really reminded me of Heather from Total Drama Island. Like how everyone hated Heather, but we loved to hate Heather, and like how Heather would like never go. Like no matter how hard people on Total Drama Island would try and get rid of Heather, like she would never be gone. Like what did Dickie say?
You can't get rid of me, bitch.
But yeah, that leads us to our final character, who really did add the giant twist, which I'll talk about, and that is Old Man. He really had us all fooled. He went throughout this show thinking like he was like the one old man who was really obsessed with like winning. Turns out the whole time he was the mastermind. Spoiler alert. He was the mastermind. Like that was a good twist. Like that was a really good twist. Like I would not have seen that the first time, but when you like watch it again, it makes a lot of sense because he's really pulling the strings from behind. Like especially when like the group was like allowed to like leave. Like the fact that he went out of his way to talk to Gi-yoon really just shows like he was trying to get him back in the game specifically. Like he said those words to get him back in the game. So when things turned out the way they did, it makes a lot of sense. Like why? You know? Sorry that I keep popping up, but I also did hear a theory. Don't know if it's true. Let me know in the comments if it is. But I heard a theory that the old man actually might be 455's or 456's dad. Because like they have like a lot of moments where they're like, oh, this is what I did with my childhood. Oh yeah, I did that with my kid too. Strange. And they just move on. So might be possible. Who knows? Also, we talked about how attractive everyone is in this show, like especially Mr. Police Officer. Mr. Police Officer. Take me away. Take me away, please. Like, wow. Anyways, there's the side. I feel like what makes this show so interesting, besides like the absolute brutality factor, which I feel like is like a large like point of like drawing in, it just really plays with people's morals. Like the show constantly, each game that they play tests a new piece of people's morals. And the games are so calculated in the sense where it's like, it forces you to make morally incorrect decisions. Like there's no way to morally get through everything. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing the game, your success is directly involved with someone else's demise. How morally right can you really be? And most of it was literally just based off of luck. And I know I said I mentioned this later, but it is officially later. The one game that really broke me, of all the games that really broke me, the marbles game definitely took the cake. Like the marbles game really did shatter my soul. Basically, if you're not familiar, the group was initially told that they had to get up in pairs. Everyone thought that they'd be teaming up with someone to go against other people. So it's like a husband and wife paired together, like people that were in groups for a very long time paired together. They were like pairs based off of trust. But it turns out that the person you paired off with was the person that you had to play against. And I guess directly, but not intentionally, kill. So all the people that got paired up had like these strong emotional ties where they had to basically end the other person's life. And the pairings that they made people go up with were just so traumatic. And this is where my true Songwoo hate train really started, because he played Ali. He really played Ali. And Ali trusted him so much. Ali won fair and square. He won the marbles, he won the game, and Songwoo was about to croak. But Songwoo pulled a sneaky, right? And gave this whole convoluted explanation. I didn't even understand the explanation. So I really don't know how Ali understood the explanation. And being like, here, take your marbles and walk around to try and see if we can both survive. Like he was really playing on the fact that Ali wanted both of them to survive. So he played him. Like he played him. He really played him. And stole his marbles, had him walk all the way around, only for him to come back. Songwoo stole his marbles, left, cleared the game, and Ali ended up getting shot. And that's just very upsetting to me, at least, because Ali was very trusting through and through. Did not deserve that. He deserved the world. Like honestly, he deserved to go back to his family and help out his family. It just hurts. It hurts so much. But nothing could hurt more in comparison to what was happening with Sebyuk. Like, who was her partner? What was her partner's name? Like, we didn't even get to know her partner for that long. Ji-young, basically Sebyuk and Ji-young like partnered up, and when they found out that they had to kill each other, they spent the entirety of the time that they had just talking to each other and getting to know each other. They were really vulnerable with each other. They were talking about like their lives, their struggles, like why they were trying to get the money, and they really could have been good friends. And the part that got me was Ji-young was trying so hard to get Sebyuk to just open up and like be happier and more positive. They'd be like, oh, after we're done with this, we should go to like this island together. And then they'd be like, oh, wait, that's not possible. One of us is gonna die here. And they had like multiple times like that where I was like, stop. Y'all could have been good friends. Y'all could have been sisters, lovers even. And then at the very end when they're playing, oh my God, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. And then at the very end when they're actually having to play the game with each other, oh my God, I didn't realize it was this, I didn't realize it was this traumatizing. Like I'm like feeling like emotions well up. It was that sad. They were playing like one of the easy games where you basically had to like throw a marble to a wall and whoever got it closest to the wall won. Sebyuk went first, like rolled like an okay roll. Like it wasn't anything that wasn't unbeatable. Ji-young just dropped the marble. She just dropped the marble. She's like, I have nothing to really win or live for with the money like you do. And Sebyuk was like, roll again. Ji-young ended up losing, which made Sebyuk the victor. And as she was walking away, that one scene, like their last words to each other were so emotional, so impactful. Like it still makes me sad. Like this show should not have this vice grip on my emotions like it does. But it was so sad because there could have been so much potential for them to be friends. There could have been so much potential for both of them to live, but unfortunately because of the game that they're playing, they just can't. Which is so traumatic, which is so traumatic. That leads me to my next point of an argument that I've been seeing on Twitter. It was actually this tweet discussing like who the true villain of Squid Game is. Some say it's Deok-soo, some people say it's Songwoo, but I feel like I agree with like the quoted tweet in the sense that like neither of them are like the main villain. Like of course they're both bad people, but the main villain here are the people that put them in that situation and made them fight for their lives. Like people are paying a lot of money to sit there and watch people in debt fight for their lives, and they get entertainment out of it. They're betting on it. And they said at the end that like the contestants are basically like horses and they're betting on horses, except they're like actual people, which, you know, I don't care how bad you think Songwoo is. He, at the end of the day, selfish, awful person, but he was just playing the game to survive. We need to cut a little higher here. We need to look for a little bit more nuance here and acknowledge the fact that the whole system as a whole is the problem. That's like the main villain.
Hey, just want to pop in here really quick and just talk about the VIPs, because what the was that? Hello? What were those VIPs? What were they up to? What were they doing? Why were they like that? Why did they talk like that? Why were they... You know, I don't really have much more to say than that, other than that one VIP who was preying on Mr. Cop deserved everything that came to him. Maybe even more. Actually, where'd he go? Because he didn't get killed. He was just gone. Who knows?
Which makes the ending really confusing because, spoiler alert, Guion ends up winning and he's really unhappy with it. He doesn't end up spending any money. Like, he fulfills his promise to Sebyuk in that he'd help out her younger brother, and he also pays tribute to Songwoo by giving money to Songwoo's mom and Sebyuk's brother to his mom. But then he ends up confronting the old man, who, remember, is like the mastermind behind all this. And they basically have this whole bet where like the old man's about to die, and he tells him everything, and he has like this bet where like if the man who's experiencing homelessness outside doesn't get any help by like midnight, yada yada yada, whatever. Basically a test of humanity, trying to prove that like, oh, what he's doing isn't immoral because people don't care about poor people anyway. Long story short, old man ends up being wrong and dies before he can even see that he's being wrong. But still, even after the old man dies, like the game is still going. Like the season ends with Guion seeing like that one salesman, that one flying salesman. Like this salesman, y'all, I would have said yes to. Sorry. Trying to basically recruit more people to play another game. And we find out that the person running the game is the front man, who was also the policeman's brother, who also, that was a strange turn of events. We need more clarification on that. I'm assuming what they're trying to say is like the policeman's brother ended up winning the Squid Game and then wanted to be a part of it. I don't know. We'll probably get explanations in season 2 because I think there's going to be a season 2. There better be a season 2. It doesn't make sense why there wouldn't be a season 2 given it's so popular and they kind of set it up for it, having Guion not go and visit his family after dyeing his hair red like the Joker and going back to try and take down the Squid Game. But yeah, I don't really know. The last episode kind of confused me just a little bit. I don't know if I was just like mentally and emotionally exhausted after watching all the rest of the episodes and just being continuously traumatized. But yeah, if anyone has a better explanation of the ending, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I think that really might be it for Squid Game, y'all. I'm a really big fan of this show. I would have to give it a solid 10 out of 10. No questions about it. There's a lot more that went on in that show that I did not talk about. So if you want to discuss things like that, like particularly like the whole glass walking episode, or like really getting into like the VIPs and who you think they are and like where do you think they fit in, drop that in the comments below. I'd love to discuss that with y'all there. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss when I post. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by leaving a like. And if you want to see more of my face, you can follow me on all my socials here at Imurgency. Also, if you want to interact more with me, then click the link in my description to join the community Discord. Thanks again for watching, and thank you Bartleby for sponsoring this video. I've been Imurgency, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.